Quality number 2, collaborative. Working together precedes winning together. Quote, all your strength is in union, all your danger is in discord. End quote. Henry Longfellow. Quote, collaboration is multiplication. End quote. John C. Maxwell. They called it the Great Escape. It was not great because it had never been done before. Prisoners of war had previously escaped from enemy camps. It was not called great because of the outcome. The results were terrible for most of the escapees. It was great because the scale of it made the task seem impossible. Stalag Luft III, a Nazi prisoner of war, POW, Camp 100 miles southeast of Berlin, was a huge compound that once held as many as 10,000 Allied POWs. Within that camp in 1944 was a core group of prisoners determined to escape. In fact, their goal was to facilitate the escape of no fewer than 250 men in one night, something that would require the utmost cooperation among the prisoners. An escape so daunting had never been tried before. Getting men out of a German prison camp was a very complex task. Of course, there was the challenge of digging and hiding the tunnels that would provide the means of escape. Together, prisoners engineered the tunnels, dug them, shored them up with wooden slats taken from prisoners' beds, and disposed of the dirt in amazingly creative ways. They pumped air into the tunnels with homemade bellows. They created tracks and trolleys used by men to move through the tunnels, and they even wired the narrow passages with electric lights. The list of supplies needed for the job was unbelievable. 4,000 bed slats, 1,370 battens, 1,699 blankets, 52 log tables, 1,219 knives, 30 shovels, 600 feet of rope, and 1,000 feet of electric wire, and more. So it took an army of prisoners just to find and steal all of the materials that were necessary for the tunnels. However, difficult building the tunnels was. Creating the means of escape was only part of the whole project. Every man who would attempt to escape needed a host of supplies and equipment: civilian clothes, German papers, and identity cards, maps, homemade compasses, emergency rations, and other items. Several prisoners continually scrounged around for anything that might aid the team. Others worked systematically and relentlessly at bribing and then blackmailing the guards. Each person had a job. There were tailors, blacksmiths, pickpockets, and foragers who worked secretly month after month. The prisoners even developed teams of men who specialized in distraction and camouflage, keeping the German soldiers off guard and distracted. Perhaps the most challenging job was that of security, since the Germans employed many guards who specialized in escape detection, called ferrets, by the prisoners. The security team kept a log of every movement of every guard who came through the compound, and they used an elaborate yet inconspicuous set of signals in order to warn other security men, lookouts, and working team members when a guard posed a threat to their efforts. On the night of March 24th, 1944, after more than a year of work, 220 men prepared to creep through the tunnel and into the woods outside the prison camp. The plan was to send out one man per minute until all had made their escape. German-speaking prisoners would board trains and pose as foreign workers. The rest would lie low during the day and travel at night, hoping to avoid German patrols. When the first prisoner popped up out of the tunnel, though, he discovered that its exit was short of the woods. Rather than get out a man per minute, they were barely able to get out a dozen per hour. In all, 86 men escaped before the tunnel was discovered. It created chaos for the Nazis, who ordered a national alert to deal with the problem. 83 of the prisoners were captured, and 41 of them were executed by the order of Adolf Hitler himself. Only 3 made it to freedom. John Sturges, the man who directed the 1963 movie called The Great Escape, which was based on the real event, said of the prisoners' effort, quote, "It demanded the concerted and concentrated diversion and vigilance of more than 600 men, every single one of them, every minute, every hour, every day, and every night for more than a year. Never has the human capacity been stretched to such incredible lengths or shown with as much determination and courage," end quote. Great challenges indeed require great teamwork, and the quality most needed among teammates amid the pressure of a difficult challenge is collaboration. Notice I did not say cooperation, because collaboration is more than that. Cooperation is working together agreeably. Collaboration is working together aggressively. Collaborative teammates do more than just work with one another. Each person brings something to the table that adds value to the relationship and synergy to the team. The sum of truly collaborative teamwork is always greater than its parts. Becoming a collaborative team player requires a change in focus in 4 different areas. Firstly, perception. See the teammates as collaborators, not as competitors. Look at any team, and you can see the potential for a competition. Siblings fight for their parents' attention. Co-workers compete for raises and promotions. Ball players go head-to-head to see who will be the starter and who will sit on the bench. Because all the people have hopes, goals, and dreams they want to achieve. But to collaborative team members, completing one another is more important than competing with one another. They perceive themselves as a unit working together, and they never allow competition between teammates to get to the point where it hurts the team. Secondly, attitude. Be supportive, not suspicious of teammates. Some people are so preoccupied with looking out for their own interests that they are naturally suspicious of just about everyone and anything, including their teammates. But adopting the mindset where you complete rather than compete with teammates is possible only if you suspend your suspicions and become a supportive team player. It is a matter of attitude. That means assuming that other people's motives are good unless proven otherwise. Indeed, mental toughness is learned, not born. If you trust people, you will treat them better. And if you treat them better, you and they will be more likely to create collaborative relationships. Thirdly, focus. Concentrate on the team, not on yourself. As a person on a team, you will usually ask one of the 2 questions when anything happens. What is in it for me? Or what does this do for the team? Where your focus, your attention, says a lot about whether you compete with others or complete them. Author Cavett Roberts points out, quote, true progress in any field is a relay race and not a single event, end quote. If you focus on the team and not just yourself, you will be able to pass the baton when necessary instead of trying to compete the race all by yourself. Fourthly, results. Create victories through multiplication. When you work together with your teammates, you can do remarkable things. If you work alone, you leave a lot of victories on the table. Collaboration has a multiplying effect on everything that you do because it releases and harnesses not only your skills, but also those of everyone on the team. Indeed, it is exponential. A reflection. Are you a collaborative person? You may not be working against the team, but that does not necessarily mean that you are working for the team. Do you bring cooperation and added value to your teammates, even to the people who you do not enjoy being with? Do you help to multiply the efforts of others, or does the team become slower and less effective when you are involved? If you are not sure, talk to your teammates. To become a collaborative team player, think win-win-win. Again, many kings of the ancients observed iron may sharpen iron, so one man sharpens another. Usually when you collaborate with others, you win. They win and the whole team wins. Find someone on the team with a similar role whom you have previously seen as a competitor. Figure out ways you can share information and work together in order to benefit both you and the team. Compliment others. Always find another way to collaborate. And this is to get together with someone who has strengths in your area of weakness and vice versa. Seek out others on the team with complementary gifts and work together. Take yourself out of the picture. Get in the habit of asking what's best for the team. For example, the next time you are at a problem-solving meeting and everyone is contributing ideas, instead of promoting yourself, ask yourself how the team would do if you were not involved in the solution. If it would do better, then propose ideas that promote and involve people other than yourself. Usually when you collaborate with others, you win, they win, and the team wins. The daily takeaway is that some boys were hiking in the woods one day when they came across part of an old abandoned railroad track stretching off through the trees. One of the boys jumped into a rail and tried walking on it. After a few steps, he lost his balance. Another boy soon tried the same thing, and he also fell. The others laughed. "I bet you cannot do it either," he barked. By one, the boys tried it, but they all failed. Even the best athlete of the bunch could not go more than a dozen steps without stumbling. And so then two of the boys began whispering to each other, and one of them challenged the others, saying that I can walk on the rail all the way to the end, and so can he. He pointed to his buddy. No, you cannot, said one of the others, who had tried and failed. I bet you a candy bar each that we can, he answered, and the other boys accepted. Then each of the two who had issued the challenge hopped up onto the rail, reached out an arm, locked hands with the other, and carefully walked the whole distance. The takeaway is that as individuals, they could not meet the challenge, but working together, they easily won, and they had a motive, i.e., the candy bar. The power of collaboration is multiplication.